You're up, Kenny. You want to go?
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the World Science Festival, City of Science. This is the Grimaldi stage. We have some great presentations and interactive events here on this stage all day long. And before we get started, I do want to thank our extraordinarily generous sponsors and donors who do make this festival possible, including our founding benefactors. Seriously, without them, all of this amazing event could not be possible. We have the Simons Foundation, the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, the John Templeton Foundation, and this year's major supporters are Anziv, the Bezos Family Foundation, Con Edison, the Della Pietra Family Foundation, the Kavli Prize, and New York University. And Con Edison, who's right there across from us, they are, the City of Science is supported by Con Edison. So just make sure that we want to thank all of those people who helped make this possible. Today, on this stage, coming up, we have the Museum of Interesting Things, followed by Science Steve. And there's also lots of programming all around. Check out in the Kimmel Center, there is the story times that start at 11 a.m. And there are some apprentice programs as well. If you're interested in the Celestial Apprentice, there's an Agriculture Apprentice. Check out with the info booth and they can guide you to where those are and where they begin. Some of them start at 11 and they go throughout the day. But here on this stage, to kick off this day of science, we are looking back in history to find out about some of the most interesting things from the Museum of Interesting Things. Seems appropriate. By exploring the Industrial Revolution and mechanical era, we'll see old items like a wooden box telephone and wind-up toys to learn how we developed modern products and technology. So please welcome Denny Daniel, the inventor and curator of the Museum of Interesting Things, for the History of Invention show. Denny Daniel!
Thank you. So I'm Denny Daniel. This is the Museum of Interesting Things. Normally it's a traveling museum. I go to schools, events like this, and libraries, show people their iPhones, their iPods. They didn't pop out of thin air. They came from a long line of inventions. In fact, pretty much everything on my table can do what your one iPhone over there can do. So you would have to have that, all this, in your pocket to do what that does right now. Imagine that if you were alive 100 years ago. Now, the first item I like to show, and the first thing I like to start with is, you know, what we show is the history of invention. That invention isn't this mysterious thing. Everyone's turned invention into some sort of rocket science, some sort of voodoo. You have to be an engineer, a Columbia University PhD. No, not at all. What does an inventor do? He really just solves a problem. Every day, you guys solve a problem. You know, I did this demonstration for this place called The Hatchery. It's a bunch of computer geeks uptown. And one guy in the very back row looks at me and he goes, well, if all an inventor does is solve a problem, then what does it mean to be an inventor? And I had to think of a witty answer. Thank God I work at Coney Island a lot, so I got a witty answer for him. I basically walked right up to that person and I said, did you tie this shoe? Did you tie? Ladies and gentlemen, this man had a problem. His shoe would untie. I noticed you double knotted it. Are you a rocket scientist? Are you a NASA engineer? Are you a Columbia University PhD? Well, you've invented the double knot. Give him a hand. That's all inventors do. You'll find out as you go through everyone's booth here and the science guide that most of our inventions are just people solving a problem, just like double knotting your shoe. Every day you solve a problem, whether it's getting here quicker, a shortcut, or it's buttering your toast quicker. But you know what? I'm talking a lot. There's some cool stuff behind me. Want to see some of it? I could use some help. Who wants to help me? Who wants to help me with it? Do you want to help? Come on up. So, do you know what this item is right over here? This is a Thomas Edison cylinder phonograph record player. I don't know why he didn't say that in one breath. Do you want to try it? Great. Grab that, spin it clockwise. Excellent. Clearly this gentleman here is a child because it has a child safety. You notice you're doing nothing. That's because Edison realized kids would overwind the spring and break it. So he made a safety. You know those medicine bottles, you have to push them in, open them? I thought those were invented in the 80s. They were, the 1880s. So you have to actually push it in and then spin it. Go ahead, push in and spin that way. Now you can feel it, right? There you go. And I guess that should be good. Let me check. Yep, that feels pretty wound. And let's let it go.